The diner was packed that rainy afternoon, boots clattering, coffee machines hissing, the smell of fries and burnt toast floating through the air. Tom, a 24-year-old waiter with tired eyes and a wrinkled apron, was already on edge. His manager had yelled at him twice, a family had refused to tip, and his rent was due tomorrow. He was one bad moment away from snapping. Then she walked in. A pregnant woman, maybe 8 months along, dripping wet from the storm. Her hair was tangled, her clothes clung to her, and her lips trembled as she asked softly, "Please, could I get some water?" Tom didn't even look up. He'd been running between tables for hours, serving ungrateful customers and dealing with rude remarks. Something about her voice hit a raw nerve. Yeah, water's free," he muttered, grabbing a glass, half filling it from the tap, and then, out of pure frustration, he slammed it down so hard that half the water splashed right onto her. Gasps filled the diner. The woman froze. Drops ran down her face and across her belly. For a heartbeat, nobody moved. Then she whispered, "It's okay," and quietly took a napkin from the counter to dry herself. Tom blinked, guilt hit him instantly, but pride kept him silent. He turned away, pretending to clean a table. 5 minutes later, the front door slammed open. The sound made every head turn. A group of bikers stepped in, leather jackets soaked from the rain, tattoos glistening, heavy boots thudding on the tile. The leader, a broad man with a scar down his cheek and eyes like thunderclouds, scanned the room, then locked eyes with the pregnant woman. "Mara," he said softly, rushing to her side. "You okay, baby?" Tom's stomach dropped. The woman, Mara, smiled faintly. "It's fine, Jax. Just a long day." But Jax noticed the wet napkins, the trembling hands, and the waiter standing frozen near the counter. The room went quiet enough to hear the clock ticking. Jax walked toward Tom, slow, deliberate steps. "You threw water at my wife?" The entire diner held its breath. Tom's voice cracked. I didn't mean to, it was an accident." Jax's fist clenched, but Mara stood up, wincing slightly as she rested a hand on her belly. "Jax, please. Don't." She looked right at Tom. "It's fine. Really." Jax turned to her, jaw tight. "He disrespected you." But Mara only smiled weakly. "He didn't know. And maybe he's just having a bad day." That stopped everyone. Tom's throat burned. He wanted to say something, to apologize, to explain, but his voice broke. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I've been working doubles, my mom's in the hospital, and I just lost it. You didn't deserve that." Mara's eyes softened. She reached out and touched his hand. "We all have bad days, son. It's what we do next that matters." Jax stood silent for a long moment, then sighed. He turned to the counter and said, "Give us 2 coffees, a plate of fries, and whatever this guy wants for lunch." "On me." Tom looked. Tom stood by the window long after the rumble of motorcycles faded into the distance. The rain had stopped, but inside him, something else had begun, a quiet storm of shame, reflection, and unexpected hope. He held the note again, tracing the words with his thumb. "Be kind, even when it's hard." The manager barked from the kitchen. "Tom! Break's over!" Normally, he'd mutter under his breath. This time, he just nodded. "Yes, sir." He went back to work, refilling coffee, wiping tables, smiling at customers. But everything felt different. Each "thank you," he said, each smile he offered, felt like a small apology for every bitter word he'd ever thrown into the world. That night, after closing time, Tom walked the few blocks to the hospital. The fluorescent lights buzzed above as he entered room 214, where his mother lay asleep. The machines beeped softly beside her. He placed a single white rose on her bedside, bought with part of that $100, and sat down quietly. "Mom," he whispered, "you always said kindness comes back. Guess you were right." A nurse passing by smiled. "She'll be happy to hear your voice when she wakes." Tom nodded, tears glistening in his tired eyes. "Yeah. Maybe I'll tell her about the biker and his wife. She'd probably laugh." The nurse tilted her head. Biker? Tom chuckled faintly. Yeah. I messed up big time today. But instead of breaking me, they taught me something. The nurse smiled knowingly. Funny how strangers do that sometimes. Days turned into weeks. Tom started helping an old homeless man who sometimes waited outside the diner, bringing him coffee when no one was looking. He volunteered for extra shifts when coworkers were sick. His tips began to grow, but so did something else, his peace. Then, one crisp Sunday morning, a group of motorcycles pulled into the diner's parking lot again. Tom's heart skipped. It was them. Jax and Mara walked in, this time with a tiny baby in her arms, wrapped in a pink blanket. Tom froze behind the counter. Then, with a nervous grin, he said, "Welcome back." Mara beamed. "Hey, Tom. Meet Lily." The baby's tiny fingers reached out, and without thinking, Tom leaned closer. Lily grabbed his finger and held it tight. "She's beautiful," he said softly. Jack smiled, patting Tom's shoulder. "You've changed, kid. I can tell." Tom laughed, a little embarrassed. "Guess your wife taught me something I didn't know I needed." Mara looked at him warmly. "The world doesn't need perfect people, Tom. It needs people who care, even after they've made mistakes." Tom nodded, his throat tight. "Thank you for forgiving me when you didn't have to." Jax grinned. "That's my wife's magic. Don't mess with her, or she'll fix your life instead of your face." The diner burst into laughter. As the couple left, Tom watched them disappear into the sunlight. No rain this time, just open sky and the hum of engines fading into peace. He went back to his counter, the no.